Hey, this is Barry bringing you another blessing from the Bear's Den. I often wonder what people look at when they greet one another. I mean, like, what do you see when you look another individual in the eye? When you're passing on the street, what are you looking for in that individual? Are you looking for how that individual can help you, or looking to see if that individual is a threat to you, or how maybe you can help that individual? Or do you do something like what Richard Rohr talks about in his morning meditation this morning? He quoted a lady, Beatrice Bruto, and she said this about how Jesus looked at people because he believed that there was divine in people. Let me read this quote for you. He said, Jesus had a fundamental vision. He believed that there was divine in everyone he met. He really believed that God was somehow present in each person. So he looked for the presence through all the underlying contradictions to it until he found it. Then Jesus addressed himself to that point in the person. I wonder if that's what we do. If we look for the divine in one another, if we want to see the God in each other, is that the first thing we look for? I know when Jesus was pressed for finding out what the greatest commandment was, his answer was to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, mind, and spirit. But the second was as great as the first, and that's to love one another as we have been loved by God. And if Jesus can walk upon the earth and look for divinity, look for the God presence in each one of us, and we call ourselves Christians and we're supposed to follow the Christ, then maybe it's time for us as people of God, as we come back together from this pandemic, to really value humanity as a creation of God, and to see first and foremost not the flaws of one another, but the divine in one another. And that quote says, he found that point and then he went from there. He pursued from that point. He went straight after that point. Maybe that's the way we as people of God who follow our Christ need to address one another. We need to see the divine, see each other as creatures created by our God, and that within us God's Spirit resides. And let's find that Spirit first, and then let's begin our relationship. This week, as you start to get out again, as you start to encounter humanity again, I pray that you will look at one another and that you will see God's beautiful creation in each other and know that the divine is in each of you, and that you address each other from that point and love one another as God has loved you. I pray you're healthy. I pray you're well. And I pray that you have a great week. And remember this, God loves you, and so do I.